Exclusive contracted novel by Feilu Novel Network. One Piece's talent reset system. My name is Ryuzaki. When I was young, I was sold by human traffickers to the world government as a spy, and I am a powerful member of the sect. Although my talents are all ***, fortunately there is a talent reset system where all talents can be reset and all points can be added again. Slowly practicing, finally one day, I was too strong. Eagle Eye. From now on, please call me the second greatest swordsman in the world. Kaido. In the future, when I encounter Longqi, I will take a detour. Red-haired. Longqi doesn't give me face, I have to swallow my pride. Kapu. I didn't expect to lose to Ryuzaki in the boxing competition. 5 old stars. Is it really good to leave guys like Longqi unattended? Leave him alone, anyway that guy only overthrows girls. Feilu Novel Network reminds you that this novel and its characters are purely fictional. If there are any similarities, they are purely coincidental and should not be imitated. Chapter 1. Selection of Spy Personnel. You are listening at novelfull.audio. In a closed playground. A group of children are running around the playground, all of different ages. The younger ones are only 3 or 4 years old, while the older ones are 13 or 4 years old. Longqi, a reincarnation and rebirth of Earth, sadly became one of them. Ryuzaki is 6 years old this year and was born into an ordinary family in the world of pirates. Unfortunately, his parents passed away and the village was attacked by pirates. He was then sold by human traffickers and eventually bought by the world government spy agency. Longqi is very certain that he was bought by the spy agency because he saw someone familiar with him. Among this group of children, there are 2 people that Longqi knows. One is a young Kaku, his long nose is hard to recognize. The other one is little lowly Califa. As a promiscuous person, Ryuzaki believes that he won't take his eyes off her. These 2 people will both be members of CP9 in the future. Is there another one falling down? Just near Longqi, a little boy collapsed from exhaustion. The tall man in a black suit walked over and said coldly, "Give you 5 seconds, stand up immediately." Unfortunately, the little boy fell into a deep sleep without any response. Finger the gun. The little boy had a blood hole on his neck, twitched a few times, and then died uncontrollably. This is the spy agency, cold-blooded and ruthless. The selection of espionage personnel is completely different from the selection of military personnel. Those who fail the military selection can withdraw. And espionage personnel themselves are highly confidential industries, advancing without retreating. In the world of pirates, there is no qualification appraisal stone or anything like that. For espionage agencies, identifying whether a seedling is good or not is simple. Let them run endlessly. Only those with strong physical fitness or perseverance can ultimately survive. From the first day on, I completely experienced what cold blood means. The person in charge of selection, in front of all the children, deals with those who cannot fall to the ground. Over 3 days later, more than half of the 100 people were disposed of. The remaining children continued running silently, seemingly accustomed to this rhythm. Either live or die. The rules are so simple. The innocence and romance have faded away, leaving only cruel reality and survival instincts. Longqi didn't want to die. As his breathing became increasingly difficult, dizziness often appeared, but Longqi gritted his teeth and forcefully suppressed it. He followed closely behind Califa. Ryuzaki was very clear that relying solely on his desire for survival was not enough to survive. He needed another thing to motivate himself. Yes, that was Califa, the little but that twisted and twisted while running. Hate, greed, lust, anger, anything is fine. In order to survive, even if there is none, it must be created. However, even so, Longqi felt like he was about to decline. His qualifications were really poor. Through the built.in talent reset system, Ryuzaki can see his own and others' qualification attributes. Among all the children, the one with the strongest basic physical talent is Kaku. Kaku talent. Talent. Basic physical fitness, 92, talent. Basic strength, 93, and Khalifa's talent. Talent. Basic physical fitness, 76, talent. Basic strength, 64, but Longchi's talent is. Talent. Basic strength, 3, talent. Basic physical fitness, 5, weak, 2 weak. Among all the people, Ryuzaki is the weakest, with a talent gap of several tens of times. Others have at least 2 digits, while Ryuzaki has only 1 digit. Even if Ryuzaki could reset his talent and add all 3 points of his basic strength talent to his basic physical ability talent, all of them would be reduced to only 8 points, still in single digits. With a thud, Longchi fell to the ground. Another one fell. Still struggling. Give you 10 seconds, stand up immediately. The man in a black suit walked over expressionlessly. Damn it, my legs are not working. Longchi's head was still conscious, but his body was not obedient and he couldn't stand up no matter how hard he tried. He was up and down all over, and due to the loss of force, his limbs began to tremble. Longchi almost climbs, he doesn't want to die, really doesn't want to die. Traveling through the world of pirates, how can Nyo die before she's even soaked? Longchi fiercely grabbed a handful of dust on the ground. He suddenly remembered that there was a saying circulating on the internet. The One Piece King can be neglected, the Empress can be neglected, but Tao Zizhu must die. That's right. That's it. Paralyzed, whenever he thought of Tao Zizhu's little rabbit, Longchi became particularly frustrated. Tao Zizhu must die. He quickly got up from the ground, with a hint of angry force supporting his body. Oh. You have good eyes. The man in the suit nodded in satisfaction, praising anyone who could still stand up after falling to the ground. The man in the suit picked up a document and flipped through it, which recorded detailed information about this batch of children. Many children's avatars and names have already been marked with red forks, which means they have been eliminated and disposed of. Those who have not yet crossed are still alive. I see, it's called Longchi. The man in the suit was holding the document, his hands behind his back, and he paid extra attention to Longchi. Especially just now, there was a murderous look in Longchi's eyes, which was very good. The man in the suit felt very good, and what the world government wanted were cold-blooded tools and ruthless executioners. As the sun sets in the west, the day's running is finally over. No one knows if it will continue tomorrow, but at least it can rest now. A group of little brats collapsed on the ground, some panting, while others fell asleep. As for Longchi, he still held his evil breath and picked up a small stone, throwing it fiercely towards a nearby tree. He let out a scream, not knowing which unlucky person he had hit. Congratulations to the host for activating your shooting talent. Upon hearing the mechanical electronic female voice, Longchi was taken aback and immediately checked his talent. That's right, there are indeed 2 more. Talent. Basic shooting, 8, talent. Throwing, 4, Longchi was puzzled for a moment, feeling a bit confused. He thought he only had basic strength and physical abilities, but didn't expect there were other talents. Hey, kid, did you hit me just now? A boy who was 1 head taller than Longchi walked over and glared angrily at him. Sorry, I didn't mean to. Isn't it intentional? Is that intentional? Before Longchi could react, the tall boy swung his fist and hit him. When Longchi regained his senses, he was also angry. I took your mother's, what kind of understanding ability do you have? Is it an intellectual disability? Fight, fight, no one is afraid of anyone. Chapter 2. Talent Reset System. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Although Longchi's strength is not great and his height is not high, it's okay, everyone is half a pound. I'll kick your lungs. Longqi stared blankly and pushed his head over. Congratulations to the host for activating the basic physical skill talent. Just as Longqi was fighting, the system heard another prompt sound. Longqi quickly checked and found that there were several more talents. Talent. Basic body art, 6, talent. Basic fist technique, 8, talent. Basic kicking skills, 7, fight and it will start. Hey, system, what are the conditions for opening a new talent? Longqi was very excited. Although his talent was very low, at least in the tens of ordinary people, he was in the single digits. However, his system is a talent reset system. Longqi can add all the points to a talent. Faced with Longqi's question, the system only replied lightly, please explore on your own. Ryuzaki is unable to roast. Alright, just feel for yourself. Now, Longqi's talent. Talent. Basic strength, 3, talent. Basic physical fitness, 5, talent. Basic body art, 6, talent. Basic fist technique, 8, talent. Basic kicking skills, 7, talent. Basic shooting, 8, talent. Throwing, 4, after calculation, the total is 41 points, much stronger than before. Longqi reset and added all 41 points to his basic physical fitness. However, the talent for basic physical fitness is not physical ability. For example, Longqi's current talent for basic physical fitness is about 8 times that of the original. It's not that basic physical fitness is 8 times that of the original, but in the area of basic physical fitness, his qualifications are higher than before. If we continue running training, then with the same lap, Longqi's physical limit will increase faster than before. 8 times is just a reference, but there are other factors that may affect it. Longqi's current basic physical talent is 41 points, but his basic physical level is still LV1. The fight is still ongoing. Although Ryuzaki has completely exhausted himself, the opponent is no exception. I am no longer capable, and neither are you. Karlofa, who was resting not far away, glanced at Longqi's side and said silently, you guys are really good at playing. You're still fighting and wasting your energy. Let's see how you can hold on tomorrow. In the end, after a while of fighting, both sides gave up. There's no way, I really don't have the strength. After dinner, all the children fell asleep soundly. Early the next morning, everyone was awakened and continued running. No one dared to resist, everyone dragged their tired steps and continued to run around the playground. In the morning, someone collapsed again. Longqi is still struggling to support himself. However, due to the surge in basic physical abilities, Longqi's basic physical abilities were upgraded to LV2 at the end of the day. An increase in level means an increase in the upper limit of the level. Sure enough, the higher the talent, the higher the benefits obtained from the same training. After several days of elimination, the surviving children have the least basic physical talent, which is also around 35. On the 8th day, Longqi's basic physical fitness was upgraded to LV4. Obviously, the higher the level, the greater the amount of training required. But on that day, after finishing the first half of the run, the man in the suit clapped his hands and stopped everyone else. Actually, there aren't many people left. After these days of elimination, only 7 or 8 children are left. Those with poor physical fitness and lack of perseverance are all eliminated, while the rest belong to materials that can be made. Very good, you are all qualified. Let me introduce myself. My name is Buck and I am your officer. After a pause, he said, in the future, you will face even more difficult training than running. All you need to do is to thoroughly implement justice. You remember, for me, the weak have no right to survive. Next, Buck took Longqi and others to another place. That is a deserted island, where another group of children are running and training. There is also a group of taller individuals who are strutting their horses in the sunlight, vigorously waving their fists. Sir Buck. Another man in a suit ran over, obviously indicating that he was Buck's deputy. Well, bring all these newcomers down. Yes. This deserted island is a training base with rudimentary accommodation and medical facilities. Besides Buck, he also has 4 adjutants. As newcomers, Longqi and others first need to exercise their physical fitness. Without strong physical fitness, nothing can be done. However, prior to this, all newcomers were assigned simple accommodations, and after a delicious meal, they experienced hellish training. Either live or die. This is a deserted island. Even if you want to run, you can't even run. If you want to survive, just train hard and then train again. Here, weakness is sin. This is the closed world where espionage personnel live. Longqi didn't want to die. On his first day here, he worked hard to train and squeeze his physical limit. During the day, Ryuzaki was training, while at night, Ryuzaki was contemplating how to unlock other talents. After all, a total of 41 points is still too few. Longqi met Lu Qi here, and this guy's talent is terrifying. Talent. Basic physical fitness, 99, talent. Basic strength, 98, talent. Basic body art, 98, talent. Basic fist technique, 96, talent. Basic kicking skills, 97, clear color above 90. However, Longqi also roughly guessed that his talent was probably in his 90s, which should be a general level qualification. Compared to Lu Qi, Longqi's talent is really poor, with each item being over 90, while Longqi's each item is in single digits. Even if all the talent points are added up, the total is only 41 points, far less than half of any talent in Luke. Sadly urging. After dinner, Longqi didn't rush to rest, but walked towards the equipment room. Now Longqi has not yet been exposed to weapon cultivation, he is just exercising his physical fitness. However, going to the equipment room is qualified. A deputy officer in the equipment room was momentarily stunned when he saw Longqi coming over. Are you the newcomer named Longqi? Yes, sir. What are you doing here instead of resting? Sir, I want to learn how to use weapons. Oh. You're quite ambitious. The adjutant smiled and said, then you can take a look at it first. With the permission of his deputy, Longqi walked into the equipment room and picked up a sword leaning against the corner. This is just an ordinary sword, and Longqi does not want to learn swordsmanship immediately. He had an idea. Last time, he threw a small stone and activated 2 talents in shooting. If he could wield a sword, could he activate his talent in kendo? Chapter 3. Opening a new talent. You are listening at novelfull.audio. With confusion in mind, Longqi drew his sword out of its sheath, held it in his hand, and waved it a few times. Congratulations to the host for activating your swordsmanship talent. With a hint in his mind, Longqi happily checked his talent. Sure enough. There are a few more items. Talent. Fundamentals of Kendo, 8, talent. 1 blade flow, 7, 1 cut flow. So there's a 2 cut flow. Longqi took another sword, holding 1 sword in each hand, and waved it casually a few times before unleashing his talent for the second sword flow. However, the talent of Air Dao Lu is 4 points. Longqi took another one and imitated Sarong's style, holding a sword in his mouth and a sword in each hand, presenting a 3-blade flow. Quickly, another talent of the 3-blade technique was added, but the 3-blade technique had 2 points. Similarly, Longqi has opened up his talents in the 4-blade flow, 6-blade flow, 8-blade flow, and 9-blade flow. But these talents are all one thing. Watching Longqi holding so many swords in his hand, the adjutant shook his head in silence and thought to himself, isn't this guy training his brain to be damaged? No, I need to report to Chief Buck. Buck still values this kid very much. Just as the deputy went to report to Buck, Longchi picked up his rifle, bow and arrow, and slingshot and tried them each. The results obtained were as follows. Talent. Slingshot, 3, talent. Archery, 6, talent. Gunmanship, 7, Longchi, what are you doing, you bastard? Buck walked in and happened to see Ryuzaki juggling his hands and feet, wielding a gun and sword in a strange pose. I'm playing. Play. Buck is very angry, and the consequences are very serious. You still have the energy to play, right? Longchi was ordered to do an hour-long push-up. Now, every talent point of Longchi is still in single digits. But when they all add up, there are 82 points. When doing push-ups, Ryuzaki transferred all 82 talent points to his basic strength talent. His basic physical fitness has been upgraded to LV4, but his basic strength is still LV1. The talent reset system has the advantage of allowing Ryuzaki to target a specific training and achieve maximum effectiveness. However, Longchi is still dissatisfied with the 82 points. You should know that if Luke exercises push-ups, with all his talents above 90 points, the exercise he receives is comprehensive, at least it is also a combination of strength and physical fitness. But Longchi added all the points to his basic strength talent, so he can only exercise his strength. It seems we need to find a chance to go to the equipment room. Longchi murmured inwardly. An hour of push-ups, no matter how strong his stamina is, Longchi can't sustain it, let alone his poor stamina. Dragging his tired body, Longchi returned to his room and fell asleep. The next day, after finishing his morning physical training, Longchi went to the equipment room again. There are several other weapons that Longchi has not tried. For example, the simplest weapon. A stick. Longchi waved it in his hand a few times and obtained his talent. Basic stick technique, 8. Then he used the double and triple sticks several times. Obtained talents. Double-jointed staff, 3, and talent. 3-jointed staff, 2. Suddenly, the total talent points reached 95. Of course, Longchi was not satisfied with it because he still had a whip. Unfortunately, there is only one type of whip in the equipment room. Symbolically waving it a few times, he obtained a talent. Whip technique, 4. After calculation, the total talent reached 99 points. All of these 99 points were added to the basic physical talent by Longchi during the afternoon physical training. Physical fitness is essential for all training, without it, nothing can be trained. In order to maximize his physical fitness limit, Longchi simply carried the 2 swords in the equipment room on his shoulders while running. You should know that the real sword has weight, and Longchi also carries 2. Perhaps carrying a sword and running for 3 to 5 minutes is not a problem, but the problem is running for an entire afternoon, and with Longchi only 6 years old, the pressure is still quite high. But what he never expected was that because of his actions, others were stimulated. Kaku, this guy, found a round piece of wood and ran on his shoulder. As for Luke, this bastard is even more insane, carrying a sandbag that is about the same weight as him for physical training. Of course, there are others who are also adding to themselves. Basically, I have seen CP9 in the original work by Ryuzaki. For example, Gabra, Bruno, the lion cuddles up, and the sound is like an owl. These guys have very high comprehensive talents, even the lowest ones, with an average of over 70. Hee hee. Longchi ran side by side next to Khalifa and smiled at her. Khalifa is running with a shot put in her arms, but unfortunately she miscalculated her strength and is now panting and exhausted. What are you looking at? Khalifa glared at Longchi. You're surnamed Harrisser. I'll go, this catchphrase is so easy to understand at such a young age. Hello, my name is Longchi. I know your name. Aren't your arms tired while holding the shot put? It's not because of you. Khalifa is very angry, it's all because of this guy. Running is already tiring enough, but he still carries 2 swords, which makes others follow suit. If Khalifa doesn't follow suit, it's not enough. You can't seem out of place, can you? The current Khalifa is just a newcomer to Loli. She is still very afraid in her heart, afraid of being killed by her superiors because she does not train hard. Here. Longchi handed one of the swords to Khalifa. Khalifa looked at Ryuzaki in confusion. You can't carry this shot put on your shoulders, you can only use your arms to hold it. It's inconvenient to run and won't last long. Carry your sword, let's take it one by one. Khalifa pursed her lips, she wasn't stupid either. She knew something was wrong after running with a shot put for a while before. But she felt embarrassed to throw it away again. Now that Longchi spoke up, Khalifa quickly threw the shot put and took a sword from Longchi's hand. Khalifa, who threw the shot put, suddenly relaxed her arms a lot. Thank you. Thank you. Khalifa struggled and blurted out a few words. You're welcome. Speaking of which, I have to thank you too. Thank me. Yeah, I almost couldn't support the previous selection, but because of you. Because of me. Khalifa was confused as she listened. I've been watching you wriggling. Cough, it's just purple. Khalifa looked at Longchi with confusion, especially realizing that Longchi's gaze was fixed on her buttocks. She was a smart little girl who quickly understood what it meant and blushed instantly. You are harassing me with the surname Red Fruit. Hee 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 hee. Anyway, thank you very much for helping me through this difficult time. One day, I will make a promise with my life. Chapter 4. Practical Practice. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Damn bastard. Khalifa's teeth are itching with anger, who wants you to make a commitment? A self-indulgent guy, no, he should be a shameless bastard. Longchi ran ahead with a smile on his face. In recent days, besides following Khalifa, Ryuzaki has also been following Bruno the most. Ryuzaki knows that in the original work, Bruno is the fruit expert of the Menmon. This door fruit is very bug, but unfortunately Bruno's development is not good. For the devil fruit, Ryuzaki had several ideal devil fruits in his mind, and the gate fruit was among them. After all, the fruit of the door is spatial. In the demon fruit of the Superman series, as long as it involves space, it will not be too bad. Ryuzaki is not sure how many talents his devil fruit has developed, but he has the talent to reset the system. Even if the development talent of devil fruit is poor, it can transfer other talents to the talent of devil fruit development. Longchi believes that once the fruit of the gate is in his own hands, he will definitely develop it extremely aggressively. He may even be able to develop a gate that opens up time and space, and that would be a fortress. Moreover, Longchi speculates that Bruno has not yet eaten the fruit of Men. Because Ryuzaki used the system to scan Bruno's talent. Talent. Basic physical fitness, 72, talent. Basic strength, 68, talent. Basic body art, 73, talent. Basic fist technique, 66, talent. Basic kicking skills, 76, this talent is not as strong as Lucky, but it is also average. As long as you work hard to cultivate, you will have no problem reaching the level of a major general in the future. Among these talents, there is no talent item for devil fruit. Longchi has been pondering these days when he has free time, and he has found that his talent will not be displayed without something he has not yet been exposed to. For example, if Longchi has never used a sword, then the talent related to swordsmanship will not be displayed. Similarly, Bruno has not yet developed a talent for devil's fruit, so this guy should not have eaten devil's fruit yet. I don't know when Bruno ate the Menmon fruit. Longchi murmured inwardly, but let's go ahead and establish a good relationship first. Hey, big guy, you're as strong as a cow. Ah. Bruno's reaction was a bit slow. When he understood, he said, thank you. Bruno is a bit naive, insisting on the justice of the Navy in his heart. When others say he is as strong as a cow, he is still very grateful in his heart. After all, when he was a child, others said he was as ugly as a cow. Although it's just a one-word difference, the meaning expressed is completely different. Big guy, what's your name? My name is Bruno, and you? My name is Longchi, I'm a newcomer. Newcomers. Don't die. At this moment, 2 wooden sticks flew over, and Longchi and Bruno were each hit with a stick. Don't speak during training. Longchi rubbed his head in frustration, numb and too strict. Forget it, let's talk to Bruno when we have time. The training is continuing, and we will have a Sea King feast in the evening. This buck's strong appearance makes it easy to hunt down Sea Kings. After nearly a month of continuous training, Ryozaki's physical fitness reached LV-14 level, and in terms of strength, because Ryuzaki had time to train at night, he also reached LV-6 level. I thought I would just continue training smoothly. But obviously, Longchi was wrong. All the physical training of the newcomers was qualified, and a ship arrived on the deserted island. In addition to supplies, there were also some prisoners on board, to be precise, pirates with bounties ranging from 500,000 to 2 million belly. Buck summoned the newcomers and announced directly, your physical training is qualified. Next, you will engage in practical training, and your opponents will be them. Buck pointed his hand at the pirate who had disembarked from the ship. Practical practice. Are you joking? When even a child made a questioning sound, but Buck glared fiercely, the guy retracted his head. After speaking to the newcomers, Buck said to the pirates, if you want freedom, it's easy. Just kill your opponents. Upon hearing this, the pirates were very excited and killed a little brat who didn't even grow hair. Isn't that an easy thing to do? Although they are only small pirates with a bounty of 500,000 to 2 million, their opponents are all little brats. As for newcomers like Longchi, they can't calm down anymore. Are you joking? Where is this practical training? This is clearly a good battle to die. During this period, newcomers have not received any combat skills training except for physical and strength training. Faced with fierce pirates all at once, many newcomers become more and more afraid as they think about it. But I'm afraid there's nothing I can do, now I can only grit my head. The choice of weapons is arbitrary, of course limited to melee weapons. It is said to be practical training, but in fact, it is a 1-on-1 battle between newcomers and pirates until death. Longchi can only grit his teeth. Newcomers can choose their opponents, but Ryuzaki is one step late. He chose his own weapon first, which is a sword. When he comes to his senses, his opponents have already been selected by others. The remaining pirate, a swordsman with a bounty of 2 million pele, must be chosen even if he is not chosen. The fighting sound of ding chong rang out. Nearby, there are already newcomers and pirates fighting. Longchi stood alone with a sword in hand, staring intently at the pirate in front of him. This pirate is average in stature, probably about the same height as Genshiro. He is thin and has a small beard, and his eyes are very sharp. Kid, judging from your posture, you haven't even learned swordsmanship, have you? What if I haven't learned it before? Hee 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 hee. I really found a bargain. Sesame egg. Longchi used the system to check this pirate, who is called Kiku's and is a swordsman. Talent. Basic physical fitness, 31, talent. Basic strength, 24, talent. Basic body art, 22, talent. Basic fist technique, 16, talent. Basic kicking skills, 26, talent. Basic swordsmanship, 36, talent. Yu Jianlu, 31, Yu Jianlu. This guy's overall talent is not particularly high, just average. It matches his identity as a little pirate, but in addition to basic swordsmanship, he also has a talent for controlling the flow of swords. It seems that this pirate named Kiku's is proficient in the swordsmanship of the imperial swordsmanship. Longqi is very cautious. He has already added all his talent points to the foundation of swordsmanship. Now, it really can only be life and death by fate. With a scream of, "Ah!" Longqi did not look because he was familiar with that voice, which was the voice of a newcomer. It seemed that a newcomer had already fallen. Chapter 5. Dead Fight. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Ha ha ha. I'm free now. A pirate held up his axe and smiled happily. That's right, he just killed a newcomer. The selection of talents by spy agencies is really strict. Longqi didn't have time to sigh anymore, his attention was entirely focused on Kiku's. Hee, won't we attack? Kiku smiled and wielded his sword with one hand, casually chopping towards him. In Kiku's opinion, a casual sword can solve this little brat in front of him. However, with a ding sound, Kiku's frowned and thought to himself that the child's strength was quite strong, and he had actually stopped it. After taking a move, Longqi immediately took a few steps back. His hands were a bit numb, and he almost dropped his sword on the ground without holding it firmly. Fortunately, the opponent underestimated the enemy, otherwise his life would have been at stake. Perhaps all 99 points were added to the foundation of swordsmanship, greatly enhancing Ryozaki's ability to comprehend swordsmanship. Longqi adjusted his sword grip gesture. The blow just now made Longqi realize that his sword grip gesture was not correct. He followed the feeling and placed a small distance between his sword grip hands. This action, Kiku's did not notice, but was seen by nearby Buck. Not bad, this guy is really a good seedling. Buck nodded in approval. I have never learned swordsmanship before, but due to a strike from my opponent, I immediately corrected my incorrect grip gesture. In Buck's opinion, Longqi's talent in swordsmanship is very good. After adjusting his gestures, Ryuzaki began to take the initiative to attack. The metallic collision sound of ding ding ding. After a few hits, Longqi immediately retreated and adjusted his pace. The art of using swords is not just about using swords, but also requires coordination with one's own body. Just like boxing requires the use of waist strength, the use of swordsmanship also requires coordination between the steps and the body. Longqi just adjusted according to his feelings, while Kiku's expression became solemn. Kiku's is not foolish either. He noticed something was wrong. Apart from his strong strength, this child seems quite intelligent. It's better to use all your strength to get rid of you. Kiku's went from holding the sword with one hand to holding it with both hands, and he didn't want to drag it on anymore. Yujianliu. Tiger Bite. This move imitates the shape of a tiger, but in reality, it is a 3-combo, slap slap bite. The first 2 strikes are heavy slashes with no fixed form, breaking the opponent's stance. The final move is a light and fast thrust, with a sword piercing the throat. However, what surprised Kiku's was that the little brat in front of him actually took his sword move. Kiku's cautiously took 3 steps back. Hey, kid, have you learned swordsmanship? No. So how did you take my sword move just now? Feeling. Hiss. Kiku's took a cold breath and occasionally, obediently, this little brat is so amazing that he took his big move just by feeling it. Kiku's can't be calm, can he be a peddler? I've been learning swordsmanship for 8 years, and I've only been learning the technique of light tiger bite for 6 months. But now, can you give me a feeling? Kiku's felt that during his 8 years of learning swordsmanship, he really lived up to being a dog. Don't let this blow to your confidence. Stinky kid. Kiku's went crazy. I'm going to kill you. Yujianliu leopard hunting. Yujianliu. Landslide. Although Kiku's has launched a series of big moves and indeed engaged in a serious battle, he has never been able to defeat Ryuzaki. On the contrary, this series of moves gradually adapted Longqi to the fight with him. Not only that, Ryuzaki attempted to imitate Kiku's imperial swordsmanship, but ended up with an additional talent in his own. Imperial Swordsmanship, 8. At this moment, the total talent point increased directly from 99 to 107. Longqi himself was also a bit confused. Unexpectedly, after his talent in swordsmanship increased, he could even steal knowledge from his opponent. After taking on several major moves by Kiku's, Ryuzaki also gained confidence in himself. He was not busy killing Kiku's, but used his physical advantage to engage in a guerrilla battle with Kiku's. Moreover, Longqi has added all his talent points to the Imperial Sword flow. Through combat, become familiar with and comprehend this school of swordsmanship. As the saying goes, those who are in the game are lost, while those who are watching are clear. The battle between Ryuzaki and Kiku's was the longest. Among the newcomers, only Kaku and Califa survived, as well as Ryuzaki who was in battle. The rest were all killed by the pirates. Califa used a whip to entangle her opponent's foot, tripped them, and threw a handful of dust into their eyes before quickly killing them with a dagger. As for Kaku, this guy is purely frontal and has crushed his opponent. Now, everyone's attention is focused on Ryuzaki, the qualified newcomers, as well as seniors like Luke, watching the battle between Ryuzaki and Kiku's. This guy is very impressive. Kaku, Califa, and Ryuzaki are all newcomers in the same generation. He never expected Ryozaki's swordsmanship talent to be so demonic that he secretly learned the opponent's swordsmanship skills during the battle. Now, Ryuzaki is using the Imperial Sword flow to fight against Kiku's. Kiku's has an impulse to vomit blood. Damn it, if you steal your studies, then steal them. Unfortunately, your young man's Imperial Sword technique is even more exquisite than mine. What does that mean? Kiku's really wants to ask the heavens. What the hell is this guy? Even discerning people can tell that Longqi has already won this battle. However, Ryuzaki did not end the battle. He transferred all talent points from the initial swordsmanship foundation to the Imperial Sword flow, and then to the one-blade flow. No matter which talent is added, it makes Longqi's swordsmanship improve at a terrifying speed. In the end, Longqi, who had never learned swordsmanship. Fundamentals of Kendo. LV7. One-blade flow. LV6. Yujianliu. LV5. The rest is just a matter of proficiency. Yujianliu. Landslide. This is a heavy slash that rises into the air, from top to bottom. Due to its powerful force, it presents a strong crushing force, hence the name, landslide. But this move was not made by Kiku's, but by Ryuzaki. Chong. Kiku's tried his best to block, but the knife in his hand continued to sink, resulting in Ryuzaki cutting into Kiku's forehead. The whole audience was stunned. At the moment of his death, Kiku's smiled on his face. He didn't die as a pirate, he died as a swordsman. Longqi committed murder for the first time, but his heart remained calm. He doesn't understand those time travel novels where Mao would kill someone and vomit. Longqi does not feel abnormal, but rather thinks that vomiting is abnormal. It's not that I haven't seen all kinds of dismemberment cases and so on in the news. Which murderer will vomit? Talking about nervousness and trembling, the first time doing it, maybe there will be, but vomiting. Hee hee. If this were placed on the battlefield of ancient recruits, everyone would vomit, so stop fighting. Chapter 6. Justice in the Dark. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Shake off the sword. Longqi took a deep breath, the smell of blood was non-existent. Fresh blood, with very little bleeding, has no bloody smell at all, and at least a pool of blood needs to flow out to have a taste. Longqi, qualified. Buck announced Longqi's victory. However, Longqi seemed to have not heard and calmly walked towards the victorious pirates. Amidst the puzzled gazes of the crowd, Ryuzaki swiftly attacked a pirate, and with a flash of sword light, the the pirate's throat was cut open. In the next moment, Longqi had already appeared in front of another pirate. Ding! Although it was blocked, it was still cut to the chest by Longqi's sword. Ah! Accompanied by the screams of the pirates, Longqi made a comeback and another pirate died. In just 30 seconds, Ryuzaki wiped out all the victorious pirates. The scene was completely silent. Buck frowned and said, "Longqi, why did you take action to kill them? You better give a reason." "Reason?" Longqi grinned and said, "Sir, being weak is a crime. Pirates themselves are criminals, and they are both weak and pirates. The two crimes add up, so there's no need to let them go." Hee 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 hee. "You guy." Looking at Longqi's gloomy smile, Buck smiled. No one knew what was on his mind. Laughing together, there is also Luke. Lu Qi looked at Long Qi admiringly. This kid is very interested in him. However, for Longqi, this is just a set of second-rate rhetoric. Longqi is very clear that these pirates will definitely die. How could they possibly let them go even after letting them know the base where the world government trains espionage personnel? How naive. Rather than letting others kill you, it's better to hone your swordsmanship for yourself. Longqi, Kaku, and Khalifa have gone through this assessment and have fully integrated into the future CP9 family. In the evening, Lu Qi and others held a welcoming banquet for the new people. "Longqi, your swordsmanship is really impressive. If you have time, how about sparring with me?" "That's Kaku." "How old is this guy?" Unexpectedly claiming to be old and decadent, Longqi is also drunk. "If your swordsmanship is too poor, I won't fight you." "Ha ha ha. I know now. Longqi, Kaku, Khalifa, from now on, it's best for you three to cultivate one skill." "What do you mean, Luke?" "As espionage personnel, besides possessing essential combat skills, other job skills are also essential. After all, we are espionage personnel and will carry out covert missions in the future." "I see." Khalifa nodded and agreed. A normal job skill is necessary to not make others doubt it. "That's what I mean. My secondary profession is related to shipbuilding and ship repair skills. After all, in this vast sea, whether it's the navy or pirates, there must be ships, and boatmen will have jobs wherever they go. Oh, then I'll also learn shipbuilding techniques. I will choose the profession of secretary." Long Qi rubbed his head, feeling a bit embarrassed. After thinking for a moment, he said, "I might as well become a blacksmith. It seems that there are also many swordsmen on the sea, and blacksmiths should be able to find jobs easily, ahaha. Yo, yo, yo. As for me, you don't need to, your appearance doesn't conform to convention and is easily noticeable. Oh, Luke, since I'm so useless, why don't I just commit suicide? Iron block. Cut." Watching these teasing people, Longqi shook his head in silence. He fell to the ground, looking up at the starry sky. Companions are not exclusive to pirates. Everyone has partners, and the friendship between CP9 is not inferior to others. Is it the justice of darkness? Longqi smiled twice. He was too lazy to bother with this thing. But Ryuzaki knew that in the original work, after CP9 was defeated by the Straw Hat Pirates, he ended up being abandoned by the world government and chased by the navy. Although Lu Qi and others later returned to the world government, this incident also showed that neither the world government or the Tianlong people could be relied on. And to be honest, whether it's justice or evil, spies usually have a hard time dying. Where is the destination of the spy? A cool breeze blows. Longqi slightly closed his eyes as he pondering the future. What if he were abandoned by the world government, how would he survive? This question is a headache. I can't think of a reason for it at the moment. Forget it, let's not think about it. Let's have a banquet. Cheers. The cheerful banquet didn't end until early morning. The next day, I continued my arduous cultivation. However, Unlike before when it was just physical exercise, it was basically half a day of physical exercise and half a day of basic physical cultivation. Basic boxing techniques, basic kicking techniques of course, Longqi and Kaku, as they both practice swordsmanship, will receive guidance from Buck in their spare time. Buck is undoubtedly a master of the 6 styles, but beyond that, he is also a swordsman. This made Longqi quite excited, because he knew that guys like Buck should have fought against many swordsmen, right? For different schools of swordsmanship, one should also be aware of them. Longqi, Kaku, since you two want to follow me in practicing swordsmanship, there is one thing I need you to understand. A powerful swordsman is not just about swordsmanship, so I hope you don't neglect the cultivation of physical skills. Sir Buck. Just call me Mr. Buck. Yes, Mr. Buck, I want to learn swordsmanship from all schools, including the weakest. Oh. Buck looked at Longqi in surprise. You kid, you probably want to create your own genre, right? No wonder Buck thinks so. Often, master swordsmen who want to build their own schools will challenge the swordsmanship of various schools everywhere, learning from each other's strengths and weaknesses. However, Buck actually overthought it. Longqi just wants to increase his talent. Of course, Longqi did not directly answer this question. Longqi just said, Mr. Buck, I want to become stronger. Hee, you kid, okay, I'll teach you all the swordsmanship styles I have mastered. Buck is very optimistic about Ryuzaki. In Buck's eyes, Ryuzaki is a swordsmanship genius who may grow up and become the world's #1 swordsman. However, before that, Buck needs to lay a solid foundation for these two guys. Whether it is physical or swordsmanship, a good foundation is the key to achieving the effect of thick accumulation in thin hair. Under Buck's supervision, Longqi and Kaku began their basic swordsmanship practice. This practice is somewhat similar to Sauron, as both of them use bamboo knives to chop down wooden stakes. This is destined to be a day-after-day arduous practice. In the blink of an eye, the weather had turned cooler and even started to snow. Chapter 7. Undercover Tasks. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Nevertheless, everyone still comes out early every morning to train, waving their fists in the snow. Of all the manpower, the one with the fastest improvement in strength is naturally Lucci. If we look at it in terms of age, Gabra and the lion are the oldest and they entered earlier. However, in terms of strength, there is no doubt that Luke is the leader. Of course, when it comes to swordsmanship, Longqi is naturally the strongest. After nearly half a year of cultivation, Longqi learned 10 different schools of swordsmanship from Buck. They are Heartless Flow, Yueying Flow, One Divine Flow, Two-Tailed Flow, Matsumoto Flow, Thousand Pillar Flow, Breaking Army Flow, Nuin Flow, Pure Heart Flow, and Black Life Flow. Of course, he didn't completely learn these things, he just needed to activate such talents. Longqi has 10 additional talents in the swordsmanship category. Talent. Heartless Flow, 4, talent. Yuing Lu, 6, talent. One God Flow, 7, talent. Two Tails, 5, talent. Matsumoto Flow, 2, talent. Thousand Pillar Flow, 10, talent. Breaking Army Flow, 9, talent. Nuin Flow, 7, talent. Pure Heart Flow, 8, talent. Black Life Flow, 5, his total talent points are 170. At the same time, Longqi's strength, physical fitness, swordsmanship, and so on have undergone significant changes. Basic strength. LV-27. Basic physical fitness. LV-34. Fundamentals of Kendo. LV-56. One Blade Flow. LV-55. Yujianliu. LV-33. Most of the time, Ryuzaki practiced swordsmanship. Of course, basic strength and physical fitness were not neglected in the cultivation together. This is just half a year. Longqi was basically only proficient in 1 or 2 items, but when Kaku and others had already started practicing the 6 forms, Longqi had not yet been exposed to them. However, after the morning training ended, Longqi was called to Buck's office. "Mr. Buck, are you looking for me?" Buck knocked on his desk and said to Ryuzaki, "You don't know the Navy Type 6 now, do you?" "Yes, Mr. Buck." "Great. I've assigned a task from above, and after thinking it over, I think it's more appropriate for you to execute it." "What task?" Longqi was curious. "East China Sea, Kingdom of Goya, Windmill Village." Buck calmly revealed a location, which surprised Longqi's heart. However, Longqi pretended to know nothing on the surface and continued to listen. "That place is the hometown of Navy hero Lieutenant General Cap. I need you to go there as an undercover agent and investigate someone." "Ah. Who is being investigated?" "Lieutenant General Kapu." "Fool, your current strength in investigating Kapu is not enough." Longqi awkwardly touched his head. "It's not Kapu, but a child from Windmill Village, probably adopted by Kapu." "Should I?" "Because of uncertainty, I asked you to investigate. You need to confirm the child's identity." "What identity?" "Cap's illegitimate child." Buck's eyes turned white speechlessly, and Longqi thought to himself, why does this guy love gossip so much? "No, it won't be an illegitimate child," Buck said. "The identity of that child is either Cap's biological grandson or the son of the pirate King Roger." "I see. I need you to confirm whether that child is Roger's son or not." At this point, Buck sternly warned, "You remember, you just need to investigate, but you can't let Cap or the Navy notice." This is also one of the reasons why Buck chose Longqi. Ryuzaki does not know the Navy 6 styles, nor is he skilled in boxing and kicking techniques. If it's just physical combat, he doesn't have much technique and doesn't seem to have received professional training. Longqi is a master of swordsmanship. As long as he doesn't use a sword, no one will notice anything. Moreover, this kid is indeed very shrewd, with strong hidden strength and young age, which can easily make others lose their guard. Of course, one more important thing is that Longqi looks quite normal. Among the few people trained, Kaku had a long nose, Luke was too rigid, Khalifa was a bit weak, Bruno was too ugly, and the rest of them were too old, not to mention their appearance. Forget it. From a comprehensive perspective, Longqi is a very suitable undercover candidate. At this moment, Buck took out a fruit-like object and placed it on the table. In the middle of winter, there are actually fruits. This is the devil's fruit. Devil's fruit. That's right, it can give you powerful abilities, but it makes you a dry duck. But overall, the benefits outweigh the drawbacks. What abilities can I acquire? Hee, let's eat and see, it's very interesting, Buck laughed. The ability of this gate fruit is not very good for improving combat, but it still plays a significant role in assisting in investigating intelligence. Door fruit. I wipe. Hearing this, Longqi's heart is excited. This was originally Bruno's demonic fruit, but by chance it became his own. Suppressing his excitement, Longqi stepped forward and picked up the fruit from the door, then opened his mouth and took a bite. It tastes so bad. It is said that the devil's fruit tastes bad, and indeed, it tastes the same as imagined feces. But Longqi still insisted on finishing it. Buck nodded in satisfaction, then confessed some other trivial matters, and then gave Longqi a contact phone number. Longqi changed into dirty and tattered clothes, bid farewell to his friends at the training base, and then boarded a boat and left the training base. Did that guy go undercover? Khalifa stood by the beach, staring blankly at the distant ship. We will one day, too. With just sauce, Ryuzaki officially began his career as a spy. The ship sent him to the East China Sea and then left him unattended. Longqi needs to travel to the Windmill village in the Kingdom of Goya on his own. Fortunately, there were fruit from the gate, which saved Longqi a lot of trouble. And interestingly, after Longqi ate the gate fruit, he gained an additional talent, which is the Devil Fruit Development Talent, 24. Now, Longqi's total talent points are 194. Longqi added all 194 points to the talent of Devil Fruit Development. Effortlessly, Longqi found building doors, revolving doors, and air doors. In the field of air door opening, Longqi has developed air door opening, tunnel door, air door opening, staircase door, air door opening, elevator door, and air door opening. With the power of the fruit of the gate, Longqi easily infiltrated a merchant ship. Longqi hid behind a box in the storage compartment, sitting quietly, waiting for the ship to move. During this period, training cannot continue. However, the development of demon fruit abilities can continue. The development of devil fruits abilities does not have a fixed standard. From personal qualifications, imagination, to feelings, all can affect the development of devil fruit. Chapter 8. Encountering Robin by Chance. You are listening at novelfull.audio. This thing is not as systematic as domineering. After all, the devil fruit is diverse, and everyone's development direction is different, and the final results presented are also different. Someone's here. Longqi felt the sound of footsteps and without saying a word, he used the building to open the door, opened a large wooden box next to him, and then hid inside the box. Ha! Longqi breathed a sigh of relief, feeling quite nervous as he went out on a mission for the first time. In this large wooden box, there are medicinal herbs, but fortunately the box is not full. Otherwise, it really wouldn't be possible to hide inside. Quickly search around, it seems like someone ran onto the ship just now. I'll wipe it, shouldn't I be discovered? Upon hearing the sound on the deck, Longqi felt a bit confused and thought to himself that he had clearly infiltrated through a strange space opened by the air door. He shouldn't have been discovered. Step by step. Many footsteps seemed to be running towards the storage compartment. At this moment, Longqi, hiding in the box, looked up at it with a bewildered expression, because the cover of the box was suddenly lifted by someone. Longqi thought he was discovered by the crew, but his face turned out to be Longqi was stunned for a moment, and suddenly recognized that this was Nicole Robin. Robin naturally saw Longqi, and she was also taken aback. She didn't expect that there was already someone hiding in this box. But Robin couldn't care too much anymore. As the people on the deck were about to come down, Robin gritted his teeth and jumped into the box, quickly closing the cover. The space was already limited, but after Robin arrived, it became even more crowded. And Robin, this little girl, is still moving around. Can you stop fidgeting? Shoo. Don't talk. Robin's cold little hand covered Longqi's mouth. It seems that Robin is more experienced. After hiding in the box, he immediately flipped the medicinal herbs underneath and covered their heads. Did you find it? No one here. Impossible, I clearly saw someone slip onto the boat just now. Did you read it wrong? Can you open the box containing medicinal herbs and take a look? What a hassle. A chaotic sound of thump 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 Thursday. The box was opened, and a crew member glanced at it, filled with medicinal herbs. Without much thought, they closed the cover again. Checked out, no one. Really not. You must have read it wrong. Forget it, I guess I took a wrong look. After all the crew members leave. Longqi feels quite awkward. After all, the space in this box containing medicinal herbs is very small. He and Robin can only squeeze each other, and as a result, they squeeze and squeeze each other's bodies against each other. I've touched everything that should and shouldn't have been touched. It's winter now. Longqi's clothes are thin, so there's nothing wrong with him, after all, he has received strict physical training. But Robin couldn't do it anymore. She was shivering with cold, holding on to the big stove of Longqi without any intention of letting go. The ship has finally set sail. In the box, the atmosphere between the two was somewhat ambiguous. Although they were both kids, Ryuzaki was only 6 years old, and Robin was 3 years older than him, and only 9 years older. After a while, Robin noticed that there was not much movement around him, so he carefully moved the cover above his head, revealing his small head and looking around. Realizing that no one was around, Robin fiddled with the medicinal herbs, exposing Longchi's head as well. "Don't stay inside all the time, you'll faint from lack of oxygen," Robin kindly reminded. "It's warm inside." Robin is speechless. "Alright, no wonder you're all warm. Do you still want to hug me? My body is so warm." Robin's cheeks blushed slightly as he said, "Who's going to hug you?" The situation was urgent just now, it was a last resort. Longchi didn't say much, just smiled and then tightly hugged Robin in his arms. Although Ryuzaki is a bit shorter than Robin now, protecting Robin is not a problem. Robin didn't struggle much either, after all, she was shivering all over with cold. With a heater, she still liked to lean on it. Just sauce, the two hugged each other for a full 4 hours, during which they remained silent. It wasn't that the two didn't speak, but rather that Robin fell asleep. Nicole Robin, the survivor of O'Hara, offers a bounty of 79 million Bailey. If Ryuzaki captures Robin and hands him over to the world government or navy, it will definitely be a great achievement. But Longchi wouldn't do that. How could a man like Ryuzaki, who exudes a coquettish aura, capture a soft girl and hand it over to a navy full of sleazy uncles? Moreover, Ryuzaki is not 100% loyal to the world government. With a gentle reminder, little Robin stretched lazily and woke up with sleepy eyes. Speaking of which, this is the most peaceful sleep Robin has had since he fled to the end of the world. But upon waking up, Robin blushed again. "I slept too soundly just now," and tears fell on Longchi's chest, not to mention, and his saliva also splashed. More importantly, she is feeling a bit anxious now and wants to brag, but unfortunately, she is too embarrassed to say so. Robin twisted his legs back and forth, his face turning red. "Why did you start moving again?" I want to find a place." Ryuzaki probably guessed what Robin was going to do. "Do you want to use the restroom?" Robin nodded. "Then I'll go out first, you solve it, and I'll come back." "Ah. How can that work? What if you're caught?" "It's okay, I'm very clever. I happen to go out and investigate the situation outside." After speaking, Longchi stood up and slowly emerged from the box, tiptoeing towards the outside of the storage compartment. After leaving Robin's line of sight, Longchi used the ability of the gate fruit to enter the green alternate space. From within a different space, one can see outside. However, due to the ship's movement, Ryuzaki had to move faster, otherwise the distance between the alien space and the ship would become farther and farther. Longchi found an empty room, and after entering, he looked left and then again and found that it didn't seem like a place to sleep, but rather a place similar to an office. Longchi said he came out to investigate the situation outside, but in fact, he wanted to find a piece of clothing for Robin. Longchi did see one of these clothes, but it's too big. "Robin, this little loli can't wear it." Longchi scratched his head in confusion. "If you cut it, it seems that you don't know how to tailor it yourself." "Ha! By the way, a cloak." Upon seeing a black cloak hanging on the wall, which was still fluffy, Longchi rudely took it off. Later, Longchi found the kitchen and ordered a few pieces of bread. Chapter 9. Arriving at Windmill Village. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Then, Longchi returned to the storage compartment. "Has it been resolved?" Where was it resolved?" "You have to manage it." Robin glared at Longchi. "I'm just asking, forget it, here you are." Longchi handed Robin the bread and cloak. I don't know why, but Robin's eyes suddenly became moist. This time it's Longchi's turn to be at a loss. Robin was wiping tears while eating bread, and she was also extremely hungry. She didn't care about her elegant posture when eating, so she wolfed it down. "Thank you. Don't be so polite, we share the same illness. Are we in the same boat?" Robin muttered to herself. Suddenly, she took Longqi's hand and said, "Let's go together. Would you be my partner?" Looking at Robin's hopeful gaze, Longqi didn't know how to answer for a moment. "He's going to the Windmill village to carry out a mission. Do you not want it?" Robin lowered her head. She was already smart, and looking at Longqi's conflicted expression, she knew that the other party was unwilling. Longqi didn't answer, just covered Robin with a cloak, and the two children hid in the box, snuggling together. "My name is Robin, Nicole Robin." "Well, I know. Do you know? A bounty of 79 million yuan, the devil's son, Nicole Robin. Don't you catch me to receive the reward?" "No." "Why?" "Because you're so cute, I can't bear to part with you." With a thud, Robin pursed his lips and laughed. "If I were a big man with a black face, would you have caught me to receive the reward?" "Not really." "And why is that?" "Money, if you steal it, there will always be something." "Your idea is really strange." Robin. Do you know that there is a place called Empty Island, in the sky? Hey. Really? Yes, if one day you are fortunate enough to arrive on an empty island, don't come down again. Robin didn't answer, she felt that this was Longqi's words of comfort. She held on to Longqi's warm stove and enjoyed her current state very much. She has been on the run for nearly a year and has suffered various grievances. She is like a frightened bird, and she does not trust anyone. However, Robin's trust in Longqi may be due to similar age, shared hardships or other reasons, and Robin himself is not very clear about it. However, Robin believed that Ryuzaki was someone willing to protect and care for her. The ship sailed for 3 days and 3 nights before finally stopping at a small town. Longqi had to part ways with Robin, he had to sit on a boat and rush to the kingdom of Goya. Before leaving, Longqi hung a small cloth bag diagonally on Robin's body, which contained several pieces of bread, a stack of barley, and a small pistol. Although their relationship lasted for at least a few brief days, they trusted each other. Robin was reluctant to part, but in the end, Longqi still left. "Have you left?" Robin watched Longqi disappear into the crowd and was stunned for a moment. The kingdom of Goya, known as the most beautiful country in the East China Sea. The hometown of naval hero Cap. Windmill Village, is located in this country. Windmill Village is a place where many famous figures have emerged, including the hometown of the hero Kapu, the Revolutionary Army leader Dorag, the hometown of Grass Hat Luffy, and those with red hair who have nothing to do but run here. Magino, a beautiful girl from the village, accidentally picked up a little boy by the seaside. This little boy is none other than Ryuzaki. Longqi was starving and his whole body was thin and bony, and his clothes were also torn and tattered. It wasn't that he suffered a shipwreck or something, but rather that in order to avoid suspicion, Longqi deliberately made himself hungry for many consecutive days. After all, this is the hometown of Kapu and Dolag. These two great gods are not easy to provoke. If strange people come to the village and stay for a long time without being investigated, it will be strange. This is also one of the reasons why Buck chose Ryuzaki, as children can make them lose their guard. After all, what skills can a 6-year-old child have? Now Longqi is a completely distressed child, that's all. Looking at Longqi, who was thin and bony, Magino's sympathy overflowed and she carried Longqi directly to her home. But after carrying it home, Magino realized that Longqi was suffering from a high fever, which frightened Magino to quickly go to the village doctor. After lying down for 3 consecutive days and 3 nights, the high fever slowly faded away. When Longqi opened his eyes and looked at Magino sitting by the bed, he suddenly looked puzzled and said, "Where is this? Where is this? What is this place?" Hello, my name is Magino, this is my home. Magino smiled gently. Little brother, what's your name? My name is Longchi. Longchi, where is your family? They were all killed by pirates. As he spoke, tears of anger welled up in Longchi's eyes. Upon hearing these words, Magino felt even more pity for Ryuzaki. Big sister, did you save me? Well, I picked you up. At that time, you were still suffering from a high fever, which scared me to death. Thank you, big sister. I will definitely repay you. Magino smiled gently and grabbed Longchi's hand, saying, Longchi, why don't you live with me? Hey. How can this be done? It's okay, anyway, there are plenty of vacant houses here. Besides, I don't have any relatives either. Longchi, you can be my younger brother. Can I? Hee 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 hee. That's the decision, Longchi. From now on, I'll be your god sister. Damn it. Damn it, sister. Well, my brother, you have just recovered from a serious illness. I made you a bowl of congee. Wait, I'll bring it to you. Looking at Magino's lively and cheerful appearance, Longchi felt quite conflicted in his heart. It was a sin to deceive such a kind and innocent girl. But when it comes to doing, sister, go to the entanglement of the special sister, go to the guilt of the special sister. Go to hell, go to hell. I really recognized this goddaughter. Ryuzaki enjoyed the services of Marcino and was fed congee by Marcino himself. This is a special treatment for a patient. After eating and drinking enough, Longchi got off the bed. As he got out of bed, Longchi suddenly noticed something, which was his own clothes. That. Sister Magino, my clothes. Ah, when you were unconscious, I replaced it for you. Ah. You didn't do anything to me, did you? Hee hee, why are boys so nervous? They just gave you a bath. Did you help me wash it? Chapter 10. Life-related talent. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Magino punched Longchi with a small fist and covered her mouth, chuckling profusely. To be honest, the incident of a high fever was actually unexpected. It was Ryozaki's miscalculation, and during his coma, he was indeed in a coma. When I thought of Magino helping me take a shower, well, I truly deserve to be a god sister. By the way, you don't know much about Windmill Village, do you? Come on, sister, take you out for a walk. Before Longchi could respond, Magino pulled him out. This Magino really has no connection with him. Windmill Village is a peaceful village, and the villagers here are generally very kind. Magino took Longchi for a stroll in the village while introducing them to the villagers. And Longchi also politely greeted the villagers. However, today was a bit unexpected, and I don't know what day it was when I ran into Cap. Kapu had just returned to see Ace when he happened to meet Magino and Ryuzaki. Isn't this Magino? Who is that kid? I haven't seen him before, have I? He is my younger brother, named Longchi. Magino pointed to Kapu and introduced to Ryuzaki, this is Grandpa Kapu. Hello, Grandpa Kapu. Puhaha. Magino, your younger brother is as polite as you. Hee hee, that's natural. Magino appeared somewhat proud. Oh, Longchi, do you want to join the navy? I didn't expect Cap to ask this question, and Longchi was a bit speechless. No, I don't want to join the navy, Ryuzaki said bluntly. My dream is to become a blacksmith. Blacksmith. Cap was taken aback, could this also be considered a dream? What is the difference between this and salted fish? In fact, Longchi has also planned to work as an undercover agent here. I don't know when he will become an undercover agent. It's unlikely for him to engage in cultivation. Instead of wasting time, it's better to delve into a side job. I said I wanted to be a blacksmith, but I ended up training at the training base and never had time to learn the skills of making iron. If you have time now, learn the technical skills of forging iron. I've been arguing for a while. Kapu anxiously went to visit Ace. Watching Cap's departure, Longchi couldn't help but take a deep breath. This old man's talented bunker. Kapu's talent. Talent. Basic physical ability, 126, talent. Basic strength, 130, talent. Basic body art, 112, talent. Basic fist technique, 137, talent. Basic kicking skills, 97, talent. Armed color dominance, 131, talent. Seeing, hearing, and colorful dominance, 99, talent. Overlord color and domineering aura, 100, talent. Navy type 6, 99, this old man, who is over 113, actually has 3 items. Basic strength, basic boxing, and armed aura. No wonder it's called Iron Fist Kapu. Strength, martial arts, armed color and domineering aura, combined with 3 talents that can surpass 130, are essential for those who damage the bunker. And in other aspects, Kappa is still not weak. It's really enviable, jealous, and hateful. This product is absolutely unaffordable, at least for now, it is an existence that is absolutely unaffordable. Kapu's talent to a certain extent reflects the talent level of the 4H level and those legendary pirate levels, probably similar to those with white beard. Longchi followed Magino around the village for a while, roughly understanding the situation in the village, and then followed Magino back home. Magino's parents passed away and she has no relatives. There are 4 large houses in her family. Longchi lives in Magino's house, and he lives next door to Magino. For Magino, Longchi still has a good impression. In the past few days of illness, it has been Magino taking care of him. In the evening, Longchi decided to cook for Magino himself and cook a delicious meal. Don't be fooled by Longchi's reincarnation in this world, he has never cooked before, but in his past life, he can still make a few home-cooked dishes without any problems. However, as Longchi began to finish his meal, an unexpected sound rang out. Congratulations to the host, activating talent. Chef, 36, I wipe, what's the situation? Even a chef counts. Yes, but talent points cannot be added to combat talents and can only be reset in life talents. After the system explained it this way, Longchi roughly understood. Those in the combat category belong to the combat category, while those in the lifestyle category belong to the lifestyle category. It's easy to understand combat skills, such as body art, domineering, swordsmanship, and so on. As for lifestyle items, they are also easy to understand, such as chefs, tailors, blacksmiths, Wait a minute. So, can I add all the talent points from other life-related professions to the blacksmith's talent? Longchi was overjoyed and hummed a tune, stir-frying a few small dishes and setting them up. Wow! Longchi personally cooks, what makes you so happy? Hee, of course it's to celebrate my addition of a beautiful sister. Your mouth is really sweet. Let me taste how you cook. It's not bad. Longchi flashed his big white teeth with pride. By the way, Sister Magino. Just call me Maggie. Okay, Sister Maggie, were you just sewing clothes in the room? Yes. I'll give it a try. Hey. Magino wanted to stop Ryuzaki, but Ryuzaki had already run into her room. This time it's awkward. On Magino's bed, there were clothes that had not yet been sewn and patched, but the clothes turned out to be a small white undergarment of Magino. Longchi rubbed his head and looked back to find Magino standing at the door with a flushed face. But in order to unleash his talent as a tailor, Longchi gritted his teeth, holding a needle and thread in one hand and Magino's little underwear in the other. Very good, look at the young master staring big and small. That's right, piercing through this place, oh my. The needle pierced my hand. Don't make a fuss. Magino walked over with a red face, grabbed her small underwear, panicked and hid it under the pillow, then pushed Longchi out of the room. Longchi was pushed by Magino without any resistance, as he had already activated his talent as a tailor. Talent. Tailor, 12, it's only 12 o'clock, it's not really impressive, but it's okay, there are other life skills that haven't been activated yet. Longchi accompanied Magino to finish dinner, and the two sat on chairs at the door, talking while looking up at the stars. Sister Maggie, who is the blacksmith in our village. His name is Seymour, but Ryuzaki, do you really want to be a blacksmith? Yes. What's wrong? Actually. Magino hesitated to speak. Sister Maggie, you can tell me anything you have, Longchi said, holding on to Magino's hand. Actually, I want you to run a tavern with me.